Hello and welcome to Tarot with Tanya. This is 7 cards for 7 days, and we are looking at the week of Monday, July 7 to Sunday the 7th. Welcome to July and welcome to the channel. Thank you so much for being here. And as always, take what resonates for you and leave the rest behind. It's a reading for the collective, and that can be a good way to develop your own intuition, be more aware of that sort of thing by seeing what does fit for you and what doesn't, and what might fit better for you. So this week we're starting with the moon in Taurus. So that's a fixed moon. We're also ending on a fixed moon, so we're bookending that kind of energy. And the fixed signs, that's Taurus and Leo and Scorpio and Aquarius. So as I mentioned, we're going from Taurus and we're ending in Leo. And they're very good at getting things done, at adding structure to things. So from one weekend to the next here, it could be a good time to get that done. The dark side of that, of course, or the more difficult, can be feeling a bit stuck on something. So if you know that's happening, just slow down, let the energies settle and speak to you, and maybe wait for that right moment to find your inspiration and get going again. So I'll talk a little bit more about some astrology, some aspects for the week, and then we'll look at what the cards have to say and end with a Tree Keeper's Oracle card today. So on Tuesday the 2nd, we have Mercury trining Neptune, and Mercury is also entering Leo. Neptune is retrograding and Venus is trining Saturn. So I'm doing this on a Sunday. I swear I'm already feeling all that stuff. There's a lot going on. So the trines, I've mentioned before, are pretty pleasant energies. So with that Mercury trining Neptune, we can get a nice flow of information, feeling artistically inspired, having great creative ideas. Not the best energy necessarily for making decisions that are long-lasting and, signing things like that, legal things especially. Now, as Mercury enters Leo, you're going to have a more fiery style of communication for the next few weeks. There could be a lot of creativity with that. Leo is quite creative, can be dramatic, very expressive. Now, Neptune retrograding, it's near the end of Pisces right now. And, sometimes when we're saying things like the world's gone crazy, people are crazy, there is some truth to that with that whole Neptune in Pisces energy. That's the sign that it rules, its natural place. But, it kind of gives us that double energy of being very diffuse, perhaps very spaced out, easily swayed, can be under the influence of cult people, things like that. Now, it's great in terms of the imagination, the spirituality, the artistry, but just be aware of that other darker side. So when it's going retrograde like it is now, it gives us a chance to kind of go over where we've been and to go inward and to really question what our beliefs are versus what we're told we should believe, to try to get more in tune again with that intuition, that inner knowing. And then we also have Venus trine Saturn. So again, trines are nice energy. This could be very good for a committed relationship, really feeling more solid and happy in a situation like that. Saturn is very good for commitments and structures. And we have Venus in Cancer now, and Saturn's still in Pisces, so those get along quite well, two water signs, and again can be a really nice situation that way. Let's see, on Wednesday then we have Mercury opposing Pluto. So Pluto is in those very, very early, almost back into Capricorn at this point, but very early degree of Aquarius, which opposes Leo, and that's where the Mercury is moving into Leo. So we're getting that just little opposition. Mercury moves quickly, so it won't last that long, but that could feel like a heaviness to our communication. A part of us might want to be very quick and very dramatic, and then on the opposite, it's like, yes, but how truthful are you being? Is this good for everybody? So I don't think oppositions are really all that awful, but just know that there could be a push-pull on that day. And then on Thursday, we have the new moon in Cancer. The moon is, rules Cancer, the sign of Cancer. We could be extra emotional, extra sensitive, wanting to be with people we love, be at home, nurture ourselves and others. So again, that is for our Thursday. Oh no, excuse me, that's our Friday. Of course, Thursday, for those of you in the United States, is the 4th of July, and I'm wishing everybody wonderful independence in whatever way best serves you and the collective. And then by the time we get to Friday, we have Mars sextiling Saturn. And again, that's a pretty smooth energy as well. Mars, I believe we've had this recently as well, but Mars has that energy, that activity, wants to get things done, initiate things. And with Saturn, it gives us that discipline. So we could get very good action out of this. Things that we want to do, we can do well. All right, so that's our astrology, at least the high points for the week. And for the cards, I'm using Guardian of the Night deck. And it's interesting, we start the week with all 4 elements, or actually we start with one element and then we flow into all 4 immediately, which is interesting to me. And let's see, we have just one major this week, which seems to be the pattern lately. So we begin with the Pentacles, the Earth energy, and this is the 10, so that's a peak energy in the minors. Before we reach into the Royal or the People cards. And this one is a very solid home. It can be a very loving home, a prosperous home. And when I say home, yes, it can be part of the material world for us, but it can also be home within and feeling very solid and settled in that way. Home might be where you happen to be staying right now, but feeling really good about that, and maybe celebrating it. That would be a nice energy. I think it's just such a lovely card with the bees and the flowers and so forth. We stay with the 10 energy the next day, but as I mentioned, we move to a different element, and this time it is the swords. So that's the air. The pentacles are the earth. Now we're into the air. And with the 10, it's also another peak energy. And this one can be one of, it is time to let go of something, to move in a different direction, and particularly with our thinking, the way that we see things. And it's interesting to me that that's the day that we have that Mercury trine Neptune, Mercury entering Leo, Neptune retrograding, Venus trining Saturn. There's a lot going on that Tuesday. So it might be a really nice opportunity, supported by this card. It's a mutual support or reciprocal thing here, to let go of some old points of view, some old stuff even, some old ideas, particularly. Again, it's a mental energy, so that makes the most sense. And for our next element, we move into the fire. We have the wands, and in particular this time, we have the King of Wands. We have a couple of royal cards this time. Obviously, this is the first one. And that King of Wands, I mean, this is, like Leo kind of energy, Leo the lion, you know, and that's a fire sign as well. So this is somebody, potentially, either a person, an energy. It can be a strong masculine. It's a double masculine card. So it can be a strong masculine energy, a fiery point of view. Of course, it can be within the self. And, you know, that the challenging side might be not to run roughshod over others in our intense enthusiasm. But, you know, to express it in a way that is creative, helpful, inspiring to others could be a really good use of that. And again, that's our Wednesday. And that's when we have that Mercury opposing Pluto. So, you know, we might encounter people like that and just like, no, that'll pass. On Thursday, we get to the last of the elements here, and that is the cups. So now we're into the water, into the intuition, into the emotional self. And the Four of Cups, I mean, it's always an interesting card for me. You've got the 3 on the bottom, and there's often this separation. It's hard to see the other one, I can tell from the camera here. But there is one in the in the upper corner here, right-hand side for me. And it's almost like, well, I've got these 3 things down here, but it could be yearning for something else, feeling bored with what we have, wanting another thing, maybe thinking we don't have stability when really we do, those sorts of things. So you just kind of want to be in touch. 4 is an earth number. It's very solid and stable. So it could be kind of a longing for that after, you know, going through the 3 of Cups, which is very joyful and celebratory as well. You know, that to me also fits with that, getting ready to the moon to go into Cancer on that next day. So we get to our 1 major on Friday, and so I forgot to say also, of course, that Thursday is the 4th of July, which is interesting. You know, it is Cancer season, so that card seems to fit. You'll have to let me know how that goes for you. And then Friday, we have the Fool, and this is the beginning of the majors. It's an interesting card because of the rabbit and the wolf here, like creature, are, you know, they... in a situation where the rabbit should be running but is being open and trusting. Is that affecting the wolf? You know exactly what's going on. Often you'll see a figure, frequently male, getting ready to go off on a journey. So, you know, is this indicating some kind of a journey? How are we open to new energies, new perspectives? You know, with those 10s beginning the week, it seems to me that this is a really good and natural energy to come later. What can we let go of and start over again with? And then on our Saturday, we do have a little repetition of the elements here because we're back to the Wands. So on Wednesday, we had that King of Wands. On Saturday, we have the 3 of Wands. Sometimes this is seen as like one ship coming in. Good things happening, been waiting, and now they're here. You know, of course, it's fiery. 3s are very creative, connected to the Empress and the deck. So it should be a pretty feel-good energy. And I assume there'll still be celebrations going on if you're in the States and celebrate the 4th. And then on Sunday, our last card for this week, the Knight of Pentacles. So as I mentioned, we have the 2 royal cards, and this one would be closer to like a king can also be a father, so this can be a son or a knight, and this is the earthy one, and often a sense of humor is associated with this, which with our creature here, our donkey, it makes sense to me that that might be the case. And we have a new crescent moon, and so we will be about in that moon phase by the time the weekend rolls around. So it's encouragement to have a sense of humor, to be slow and steady about what you're doing. That's that earth energy, and the knights tend to pull things forward, though the earth one being the slowest of those. So I hope that really, really helps you with your week, being prepared and feeling connected and grounded. And then we'll end with, as I mentioned, a card from the Tree Keeper's Oracle. And what came up for us today was a 33, Keeper of the Wild. The wild isn't just a place out there, it's also a place in here. You are related to elk and deer, butterfly and hummingbird, bison, gazelle, and tiger. The mountains live in your bones, the rivers in your veins, wildflowers grow along the chambers of your heart. You weren't born to pay bills and die, distracting yourself with the secondary satisfactions of house and car and happy hour. The time has come to unplug from your current matrix. Your mind is a savanna teeming with running wildebeests. Your heart is an ocean full of mighty whales and splendid dolphins. Your soul is a forest full of stories the moon whispers late at night. Indulge your nature, your own nature, and rewild your life. And I really do feel in an overall sense that that's what's happening for us, that we're getting tired of the old ways. I mentioned, Pluto moving into Aquarius, moving briefly back into Capricorn, moving back into Aquarius, and it's going to be there for decades. And that is a much freer energy for a lot of people. It's a power to the people, and hopefully we can do that rewilding. So thank you so much for being here again. Wishing all you beloveds the best week possible. Let me know how things are going for you, and if you can be helped by a personal reading, please reach out. I can help you connect with your guides, reach into past lives, look into what might be coming up for you, current energies, and so forth. So I'll see you again in 7 days.